The luxurious 653-foot-long ocean liner SS President Coolidge was sailing off the coast of Espiritu Santo to access a heavily protected Allied harbor when suddenly, explosions erupted around the ship. They were sea mines, but these were not from the enemy. The Coolidge had struck 2 Allied mines and had been beached to prevent sinking. Men scrambled down ladders and walked ashore in the shallow waters. Eventually, the wounded ship slipped off the beach and sank. Only 2 lives were lost, out of roughly 5,000 people aboard. This is the dramatic story of success and despair. The SS President Coolidge. The Dollar Steamship Lines ordered 2 large passenger ships on October 26, 1929. Construction would take place over the next 2 years, with the soon-to-be-named SS President Hoover being completed first. The SS President Coolidge would follow shortly after, being christened and launched on February 21, 1931. The ship was delivered to the Dollar Steamship Lines shortly after on October 1, 1931. They were the largest passenger ships ever built in the United States up to that point. The 2 luxury liners cost $70 million apiece to build, an equivalent of $132 million today. The Coolidge was equipped with 12 Babcock and Wilcox superheater water tube boilers that generated steam to power 2 enormous propellers and supplied electricity aboard the ship. The Coolidge's top speed was just over 20 knots, which would soon make it the fastest liner on the Pacific. No expense was spared in making President Coolidge one of the finest ships in the Pacific. She was outfitted with expensive wood paneling throughout, and many lavishly decorated public spaces comprised the interior of the ship. The interiors were designed by the A.F. Martin Company in San Francisco, which decided on the new bold Art Deco style for the interior spaces. The ship could accommodate 988 passengers and a crew of 385. Upon arriving in Honolulu, Hawaii after her maiden voyage, the Coolidge quickly became a big success with the rich and famous. Passengers could enjoy a vast array of amenities, including lounges, private telephones, 2 saltwater swimming pools, a barber shop, a beauty salon, a gymnasium, and a soda fountain. Actors, actresses, musicians, authors, and artists all traveled aboard the steamer in hopes of reaching Hawaii in the best way possible. All seemed well for the Coolidge until December of 1937, when she ran aground and was declared a total loss. Due to the increasing financial burden of the Dollar Steamship Lines, the ship was seized before being allowed one last trans-Pacific voyage. The Dollar Lines then halted operations and their ships were laid up. In 1938, the USMC, or United States Marine Commission, reorganized the company and renamed it the American President Lines. The SS President Coolidge then operated for the APL until World War II, when it was ordered to assist the evacuation of U.S. citizens out of coastal cities in East Asia. After evacuations were completed, the ship continued to offer some trans-Pacific voyages until June of 1941, when the SS President Coolidge was quickly put into service as a troop ship. The ship would also assist in the removal of critically injured soldiers from Pearl Harbor. The Coolidge continued to carry troops and supplies until the early months of 1942, when she was finally converted into a troop ship. She could now carry upwards of 5,000 troops. There were no incidences until President Coolidge was ordered to carry a load of troops to the large military base on the island of Espiritu Santo. The harbor was heavily protected by mines, and the safe entryway was never informed to the crew of the Coolidge. This led the former luxury liner into a minefield, unknowing of the dangers. Shortly after entering the dangerous waters around the harbor, the ship struck 2 mines, one near the engine room and the other at the stern, killing 1 man instantly and endangering thousands of others. Knowing that the ship was in trouble, Captain Nelson decided the only option was to deliberately beach the ship to keep it from sinking. Over the next hour and a half, 5,340 men scrambled down ladders or simply inched their way down the side of the listing ship. Then, the steady stream of troops walked ashore in the shallow waters. The evacuation was going smoothly until word got out that there were still men trapped in the infirmary. Elwood J. Ewart of the U.S. Army, who had already left the shipwreck, decided to return and rescue the trapped men. He ended up saving the men, but Ewart himself could not escape. He went down with the Coolidge when it slipped off the reef and sank into deeper waters. Ewart was the only other life lost in the disaster. His body was eventually recovered in 2013 and properly laid to rest. Numerous inquiries were held, and it was determined that merchant ships were not given all the necessary information in situations like the President Coolidge. If the mine placement had been shared with the crew of the Coolidge, the entire ordeal could have been averted. However, in August of 1943, investigations were halted. After the war ended, many things were recovered from the President Coolidge, including propeller blades, bunker oil, brass shell casings, electric motors, junction boxes, and copper tubing. Today, over 80 years later, the Coolidge has become a popular dive site for beginners all the way up to the most experienced divers. Due to the downward slope of the seabed in which the wreck sits on, the bow is at the depth of 21 meters or 69 feet, while the stern is at the depth of 70 meters or 230 feet. ESS President Coolidge was a magnificent ship built at what is considered the height of ocean liner construction. The Coolidge was adored by many, and it was the icon of Hawaiian culture for many years. Unfortunately, miscommunication and poor directions led to the luxury liner becoming another casualty of war. She has been widely forgotten due to the untimely end being mixed into hundreds of other ships during the years of World War II. She carried thousands of passengers to the fun and leisure of the Hawaiian Islands, but now the only passenger the Coolidge accommodates for is a moray eel. Thank you for watching this video. The story of the Coolidge is a fascinating topic, and I hope you enjoyed learning something about it. If you did, support the channel by giving this video a thumbs up, or by going a little further by hitting the subscribe button. Thank you again, and have a good one.